tremendous leg strength. She split above that beam and almost stepped down to it.
She's been the steadiest performer on this entire tour, man or woman.
There's her aerial walkover, done so easily. Her legs even look stronger than some of her teammates. Beautiful split leap. Here she goes with those backflips. One,
wow,
right into
solid.
another one. Solid as a rock.
Solid as could be. And the music, appropriately enough, it's a small world after all. Small but strong. The strength of these very small women always amazes me.
Jim, you see a lot of gymnasts that have a great deal of difficulty, but not too many of them have the consistency and the steadiness that this gymnast has.
She looks much stronger in the legs than most of the other girls.
Exactly.
Wow.
Backflip, stretch.
There's somebody new to reckon with, isn't there?
Certainly is. You can bet that she'll be giving Elena Mukhina and some of the other top gymnasts a run for their money.
And did you see the way she waves to the crowd? Does that remind you of somebody from a long time ago? We'll be seeing a lot more of you, Stella. Let's get a gymnastics tip from Kurt and his coach, Roger Council.
One of the movements that's basic to gymnastics.
An illustrious career, Jim. You'll remember the start of this routine, I'm sure. It's a 1.5 twisting, 1.5 front somersault.
And this is the event in which he won the world championship.
No, he's changed it. Double back. Now, probably from this position, we'll see his Thomas Flair. There it is. We might be seeing lots of surprises in his work this year, Jim. He's already preparing for the next World Cup, trying to come up with new and better things. There's his 1.5, 1 3/4 front summy.
The men tend to get into gymnastics at a little later age than the women. He started at age 14 while he's going to Miami Central High. The girls start at 9 and 10.
That's right. Up until this time, rarely would you find a gymnast, a male gymnast, begin before high school. Rarely. Now the club programs are picking it up, and I'm delighted to see that happen. There's his strength move, a press to a handstand. He should be getting set for his dismount now, which will probably be a double twisting back summy. World champion. It must feel great for him.
Sure must.
Another double back.
Kurt Thomas. Yep, the next big milestone. He won the World Cup all-around championship in Sao Paulo, Brazil. We were there.
And he's been a European champion in this event. He's a good pommel horse worker. Got a long body, and he uses it to his advantage here. Working behind his back, that I think is one of the marks of a fine pommel horse performer. He's covered all three parts of the horse now. Now he's doing a single leg work, another requirement. And the Soviets have been spectacular on pommel horse on this entire tour. They have not made a major break yet. And he's not going to make one either.
Is this a tough event for the taller men? He's 5'9".
No, it's easier for the taller men, I think.
Alexander Detiatin. Take a good look facially at Elena Mukhina. This is the women's all-around world champion. Kathy, you mentioned at the beginning of the program that she has almost tunnel vision to her sport, doesn't she? Totally concentrated at all times.
Well, you know, most gymnasts do, but she seems to have, almost like Nadia, not able to think about anything else or do anything else except gymnastics. And it's paid off because she's world champion.
Here she comes to the uneven parallel bars.
She hasn't been throwing her most difficult moves, but looked in practice as if she was working on some of those hard moves. I think the pressure of her fellow gymnasts, whoops, a big break there. Good thing she's not in competition. That would have cost her 5/10 of a point.
That was not one of her easy moves, for sure.
And it certainly wasn't. That move was first introduced by old Corbett, remember? You,
yep.
Gordon?
Yep.
Only she added a full twist.
A long time ago.
Heck with a backflip. There's a difficult move. Very easy to land on that low bar if the timing isn't just exact.
The women's all-around world champion, Elena Mukhina. Concentration or no, you can't get it right every time. Very, very difficult sport.
McHale's going to make her
really
go back up and do it till she gets it right.
Yep, that's what's going to happen. We can see tears in Elena's eyes, by the way, even though this is an exhibition performance, not actual competition.
I think the coach is putting them through a little bit of a training process here, making them do those moves that they miss under pressure, because that's when it counts, when you're under pressure in competition or in an exhibition.
With a full twist to regress. And I think she's going to show you now.
On the uneven parallel bars.
She's going to do the move that she missed, and missing the bar, you can see just how difficult it is. Your shoulder should be almost over that bar, but not too much. Beautiful.
Well, she had missed that earlier, but she's proved she can do it now. Until you get it right, do it again. So she did.
Practice makes perfect.
Well, he did it. He used a triple flyaway then. Here he'll use a layout double flyaway, which I think is equally difficult. Just so seasoned, Jim. Man just doesn't make many mistakes. Here's his vault. That's his release required by the rules. That's called a Veronin or Hecht vault. Now he'll get set up for his dismount. A layout double flyaway. His body will be very long, very hard to get it all the way around. One of the few bounces you'll see Andrianov take.
Okay. Nikolai Andrianov from the Soviet Union. We said he's been having a good time on the tour. Maybe he's a little tired.
Might even have a headache, Jim.
And Jim, she's had a great deal of pressure on her. I guess everybody wants her to perform, and she's had an ankle injury, and she hasn't been able to let it rest at all. Full twisting. Turashiva. Beautiful.
So the dismount will be the tough part for her.
Yes, it will. I don't think she'll throw a dismount, as a matter of fact. Let's see. You can see she has tremendous form on the uneven bars. And that was where her dismount went. And she's playing it a little bit careful tonight.
That was not a mistake. She wasn't tired or anything. She just cannot risk the dismount on the bad. Chernaya and Tatiana Isayenko.
This is the kind of routine that you might see on stage or in a theater. However, they do have their own world championships, their own nationals. It's not just hand balancing.
In fact, the world championships were seen on Wide World of Sports not too many months ago.
This group starred in it, in fact. They were sensational. You know, one thing about their exercises here, the upbeat music just grabs the young audiences that we get.
You know, they're very much like gymnastics in that the routine has to be choreographed to include different elements such as tumbling, dance poses, balance, and acrobatics.
They're very well choreographed, too, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
And they have a precision that's just incredible.
You know, it seems to me that it must be a lot more difficult as far as timing is concerned, to work with partners rather than a stationary apparatus.
Good point, Kathy.
Beautiful. Showing flexibility and balance.
Now, as they dance, watch the precision. Absolute in unison.
That's what makes them world champions. It's also much more dramatic when you're so precise, right in timing altogether.
In the World Championships, they have two routines that are required. One primarily balance and tempo, one which is more acrobatic, and this is their tempo routine, as the music pretty well spells out.
The Americans are coming on in this sport surprisingly well, too, aren't they?
Strongly.
Yeah.
There's a stronghold in New York. There's a great stronghold down in New Orleans by a Soviet refugee.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Watch this opening tumbling run. Watch the tremendous height she gets.
Ooh.
Double pike. Almost overturned it. She's so high. You know, in London, we saw the World Championship tumblers, and we couldn't believe the power that they had in their legs. Well, she's just as good, just as powerful, just as high tumbling.
Young girl from Kiev in the Ukraine. Her mother's a beautician, father a factory worker. And she may be on her way to some fame.
Well, you can understand why the Russians keep coming up with so many gymnasts that are at such a high caliber. They have over 7 million gymnasts in their country. Round off flip-flop, lay out, look at the height on that. Way over her head. She she might be one of the first women to do a triple back on the floor exercise. She has the height.
She has very strong-looking legs, much stronger looking than the other women, doesn't she?
She does, and it's obvious that they're very powerful because of the tumbling she does on balance beam and on the floor exercise. All the leaps are done so easily. Watch this dismount now. Double back once again. Very difficult ending. Beautiful. Not even tired.
Okay.
Oh, there's his layout double. That's the first time he's used it on this tour. He used it in the World Championships, you'll probably remember, Jim. He's a stylist, too. A lot like a cat, Jim. He may make some mistakes, but he almost always lands on balance.
You notice they're having music to this. Now, in men's gymnastics,